Hello, ethics friends. Welcome to week 2 of our study of ethics. This week we're going to be talking about theories of morality. We're going to look at consequential and non-consequential reasoning. This week in seminar I'm going to focus mostly on consequential reasoning, but next week in seminar I will look more specifically at non-consequential forms of reasoning. But with that said, there's a lot of stuff to do this week. We have a lot of reading, we have a discussion forum, we have an assignment, which is filling out our kind of chart, and we of course have some quizzes and summaries and all that good stuff. I wanted to go over a couple things to help you achieve really good grades in the discussion forum. So let me get to that. Let me pull that up here. Here we go. I wanted to give you an example of what a really strong discussion post might look like and the type of post and what you need to do to earn full grades in these kind of assignments. So I'm pretending I have a fake discussion post question. What are ethics and why are they important? And then here is my answer. You can see I've placed my answer right here. Okay, and it goes all the way down to the works cited. So my answer is tells the readers and the people who are in the discussion why I think what ethics is. I back up my beliefs, my conclusions with a quote from our textbook, and then I explain why it's important to me. And this is a three-tiered process that if you utilize this process on most discussion posts, you will get full points at least for your initial discussion. So I wrote, ethics is the study of morality and how we make decisions regarding good and bad actions, right and wrong actions, and the like. So that's my opinion. Now I back up my opinion with a quote or a paraphrase from our textbook so I can demonstrate that my opinion isn't out of left field, for example. In our textbook, I say that ethics are, and then here I have a quote. Now this is a long quote from our textbook, so what I've done is I put this in correct quote form for long quotes. Long quotes in APA is about 4 sentences or more in length. You have to indent that quote, and there is a little indent option in the discussion forum. Here is where you find the indent right here in Microsoft Word. But if we were to go to our discussion forum, and let me show you real quick, you can also indent. Okay, so let's say I have a response here and I put la la la, and then I have this long quote. Okay, I could highlight all of this and then just click this button here which indents everything, right? And then go back to my discussion here. Go back to the long one and go up here. So that's one way to create an indent when you're actually in the discussion area. Okay? Let me go back to my form. And then I follow my quote up with more information about why I think ethics are important. These are the type of questions I have to face every day because I am always dealing with new situations that ask me to consider how to behave. I am constantly in a position where I have to make right or wrong decisions. Some of them, oh look at, I have a problem, some of them are easy and clear-cut for me, such as, is it okay to steal? Sometimes those questions are not so easy. This is why we all have to edit our posts, right? Are not so easy. What if I was starving and I had to support 3 children and I had no money or resources? I don't know why this is coming up twice. I think it's because of here. Resources. Is stealing still wrong under those circumstances? Now you notice I had to edit myself there, and that's a good thing. I'm glad I made mistakes, because one thing I always do, or I try to do when I am in a class situation online, is I like to compose my initial discussion posts in Microsoft Word, check for mistakes and spelling errors and grammar errors or missing words, and then copy and post it into the discussion forum. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. And I say ethics with these considerations are not always clear, as there are a lot of gray areas depending upon the circumstances I am living in. So that's my discussion post. I posted here that I have about 112 words here, and in this area I have about 33 words, and that kind of gets me to the 200 mark. I also have words down here for my citations, and of course my citation itself. Now this is a long citation, and this particular citation is how long in length? Let's see. This is 108 words. If it's okay to put a long citation in, but don't make it be the bulk of your discussion, okay? Don't make up your whole word count using a long citation and then end up not using enough of your own words, because then that won't really count for how many words these discussions need. So that's just something to keep in mind, okay? All right, so then I have works cited, and I wanted to show you how when we do our works cited, if I I copied this from our textbook. This is our textbook. I'm going to bring that up to show you. Just trying to install a new one. Here's our textbook right here. And here's the quote I used. Now, as you notice, I highlighted this and I right-clicked it and I copied the selection, and then I went over to my Word document and I pasted it in. All right. Now, when I do that, the book gives me this citation here, which is great. It's nice to have all the information there, but unfortunately the citation that the book puts into our discussion posts are incorrectly formatted. They are not in APA form. So if you leave it like this, I will give you a note saying that your citation is not in APA form. This is correct, right? This is APA form right here. And there's a lot of help for APA form in the classroom itself. Matter of fact, let's go to the classroom real quick. In the classroom, we have APA Quick Reference right here. It's under your Course Home tab. And if you go into the Quick Reference, you're going to see information about how to cite books, database, films, government, interactive, interviews, online journals, so on and so forth, okay? So, for example, this is a book citation, all right? And if you go through the quick reference, you're going to get lots of different information on how to cite books, okay? You go back to the menu, gives you even documents, okay? So this will help you a great deal, all right? Let me go back to our discussion post. So this is the correct form for the APA citation there. So this is what a good initial discussion post kind of looks like. And you'll notice that I have an citation here. Right here I have the page number, but I also have the name of the authors and the date up here. There are many different ways to do this, but you want to make sure to always have a good in-text citation. And over week 2, if I see that your form is incorrect, I will give you feedback in the discussion forum, okay? Posting expectations. Generally, I ask you to post by Saturday at 11:59 to have one initial post, and also all of your response posts should be done by the Tuesday of the week, right? That's 11:59 as well. So if you make your posts like on Monday, on Wednesday, the next unit, it's considered late and it's considered a week late. So please keep that in mind. You want to try to post on at least 2 to 3 days each week. In your initial post, you should use a paraphrase or quote and cite that information correctly from our textbook. Use our textbook to support your views and the readings that have been assigned to you, okay? And you also want to make sure that your responses are at least 4 sentences long, that they are engaging, that they extend the conversation. If you say, I think that was a great discussion post, keep it up, I really liked reading them, that doesn't really extend the conversation and it doesn't really engage your reader. If you think the discussion post is great, say why. And then give more information to add to the discussion, okay? And that's what I'm looking for. All right, so make sure to read everything you ever wanted to know about discussions and was afraid to ask. They're posted in every discussion forum in my first post. All right, so that's just a little overview of what I'm looking for in the discussions. I gave you some feedback. Everything is graded, so make sure to look at that. Okay. And then I wanted to just give you a quick overview of the assignment. We're going to talk about this a lot in the in our seminar this week, but some of you aren't going to be able to make seminars. So this is what you download to fill in for our assignment. It's a comparison chart. We're going to look at utilitarianism, ethical egoism, ethics of care, Kantianism, prima facie duties, command theory, and also virtue ethics. Basically, you're filling in the information here. So how is good determined? I don't want to give you the answer, so by some way. Most noted philosophers, this guy and that guy. Okay, major strengths, whatever you want to say here. Major weaknesses, whatever you want to say here, and you can find this all in your textbook readings. And you can just fill out the chart this way. Now, the problem is if you have a lot of information, you can see what happens to our chart, right? It gets all wonky, and it's fine, but you might find this cumbersome and frustrating. I think this would drive me nuts, to be honest with you. So if you don't like using the chart, I will accept it this way, where you basically just list each one here and then answers the question. How is good determined by this answer? And you can put a bullet in if you want. Most noted philosophers, this person and this person. Major strengths. Strength 1, 2, 3, weaknesses, and so on and so forth. And you can do it for each one. So if you want to fill it out that way, that's fine as well. But remember, and I'm going to put a page break in here, remember to start out the assignment with the correct heading. You want to put your class information. 4-5. You want to put the date. Today is October 21st. And Unit 2 assignment. And then you'll want to make sure that you have this as the comparison chart. Okay? And then do your comparison chart. And then if you have a citation, for example, if you got this on page 3 of our textbook, right? You want authors, page number, like that. And then you want to make sure that you have a bibliography citation at the very end of your assignment. So if you filled out the chart, and let's insert a new page. Hold on, let me do a page break here. Insert break. Going to get rid of all this. You'd have the works cited. And then your works cited page would have your citation, right? The full citation. And just for the sake of speeding things up a little bit, I'm going to bring up that other page where I have the citation that we talked about. Just copy it, and you guys can do this. Have a document that you keep with you that has just the citations for this class, right? And the citations usually are indented, right? So we do this, bump. Sorry, it's kind of messing with me. This is what your citation should look like, okay? And that's how you make the adjustment. And when you save it, remember to save these documents with your last name and information before you submit it. So file, for example, save as, all right? And I am going to save this assignment as McCarthy, Unit 2, Ehu245. And I suggest that make sure that you have a file like I do. Kaplan University and Ehu245, and make sure that you have a file that you can save. I'm going to put example on here so I know that what this is, so that you're saving your assignments all in the same place, and that will help you a great deal. And that's all I got for you. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Shoot me an email. Otherwise, I do hope I get to see you all in the seminar. Otherwise, mahalo and have a terrific week, and I will see you on the discussion boards. All right, bye-bye.